All the heroes of our story are completely different people. They have one thing in common: they live in the same area. And this is not just a district. This is the flowering Northern Saltivka, which in the 2020 became a shield for all Kharkiv, Ukraine, and probably Europe. All these people have their own fate, their own tragedy related to the war, but all of them witnessed the senseless and barbaric shelling of their native district because the war came to them in the first place. So, let's go in the footsteps of those events.
On February 24, 2022, at 5:30 in the morning, we woke up from explosions. I ran out to the balcony. Since our balcony overlooks the district, I saw explosions there, and there have been already a fire. My family and I heard explosions. We went out onto the balcony and saw a burning tank of the Russian Federation. Our guys had already set it on fire, and a burning gas station. Nearby there were already explosions, and they were really strong. It was very noisy. Looking out the window, we saw flashes on the district, but consciousness could not accept that this was a war. Garages have been already on fire. There were flights. Arrivals have been already from Liptsi. The first ones drove from the side of the ring road from Belgorod, and mostly vehicles came from the Liptsevsky direction. From the side of the district, from the side of Liptsi, Bobrovka, Tishki, there were constant shelling. Artillery was coming. There was military equipment coming here, Kharkiv, along the district. Since we have a departure through two houses to Tsirkuni, there was a lot of shooting, shells, a lot of terrible things flying from there. People who managed to leave within first hours from the side of Tishki Liptsi, from the other side, who managed to enter Kharkiv, said that they personally saw the military of the Russian Federation who shelled the city. Directly artillery, tanks got to Northern Saltivka.
Непосредственно артиллерия, танки доставали до Северной Салтовки.
We understood where it was flying from, because we are close to the district, and it was all flying from that side. There were contacts with people from Tsirkuni who said that there is a lot of Russian equipment that shells the city. The fear that you do not know what will happen. You will survive, or you will not survive. Airplanes also flew in from the side of the district. We also saw this. We counted them. We counted how much they threw off, how many of them flew back. Plus, my parents live nearby. They have a high floor. The windows overlook directly the district. They see everything that happens on the district and beyond the district. The most emotional is your area. I have been living here since 2011. I have never seen such destruction in any area. Northern Saltivka, it just became a shield. The area is quiet, sleeping. Well, what kind of military facilities could there be that needed to be bombed? It, of course, infuriates, and I don't understand. The quietest area got it. Here they made repairs. Paths, a kindergarten, a school was rebuilt before the war. The stadium was shifted. There were playgrounds everywhere. Children walked everywhere. Our acquaintances live in Tsirkuni. They called and said that Russian equipment was everywhere.
Knock out the gates and install artillery from which they shell the city.
On March 29, we had the first fire hit, but there were no people here, but it was very scary panic. Coming out onto Les Duke Street, there was a view towards the district, and we understood that something terrible was happening there. Scary, insanely scary, because they were afraid for their parents, and for themselves, and for the child. There were several arrivals that I saw personally: living complexes, Internationalist and Vienna House. By night, it became much noisier. There was the first arrival in the 16-story building near the Atby market. It was a terrible wake-up call that things would get worse. Then we were already sitting in the basements. The heating had not disappeared. The frost was down to 21 outside. Cold, scary. The break between shelling is from 6 to 8 in the morning and a little bit in the evening, and so the battles went on around the clock. We were in Kharkiv until March 5th. Sitting in the basement, it was very cold. The child was sick with chickenpox. We helped each other who had supplies, because there were no more shops, there was no more food. There were never special shelters here either. The basement in the house is not the most reliable, but people were grouped and tried to support each other. Warm, feed, while there was water and electricity, it was still possible to survive somehow. When the shelling began to get stronger and stronger, we realized that it was time to leave. And on March 29, we were no longer in Kharkiv. Eyewitness friends saw that our house was hit and our apartment was on fire. This was the first information about getting into our house. On the 30th, there was a second fire. And only 4 fires were in our house. In the future, we returned to our house to see how it was. We saw houses destroyed, and this makes it even more terrible. И от этого становится еще страшнее. I live on Valentinovskaya Street now. There, the apartment was left from my mother-in-law, and it is impossible to live in my housing. The apartment is broken. There is nowhere to return. We returned here to Kharkiv for the first time in summer. We have already seen the state of the house, like it is now. It has been already destroyed. There is an access to the apartment now, and what they saw, it was sad. All the load-bearing walls are cracked. All the interior walls are simply littered. They simply do not exist, turned into ashes. Our beautiful, quiet residential district has lost everything that it had for so many years. Kindergartens, schools, green areas. People have lost everything. Now I have no apartment, no garage, and no job today. For me, the greatest desire is to return to my home, to live here further. For many, Kharkiv is not just a city. It is the home in which he grew up. I returned with a child in December 2022. We lived in Poltava, and I was afraid to bring my child here, and he was afraid too. He had a fear. We will sit in the basement again. There will be terrible sounds again. They will shoot at us again. You will wake me up again at night and take me somewhere. He was afraid to go, no matter how sad it was. But the children got over it, together with us. Ordinary, peaceful people, and I see no point in attacking. Only a person with a sick imagination can do all this. This neighbor of ours, unfortunately, is not going anywhere yet. I would like it to disappear from this earth, but for now it is. Everything they did for inexplicable reasons. To envy in retaliation, out of malice. No one expected them here. No one needs them here.
Освобождать нас от чего-то или от кого-то мы не просили.
Our people are kind, but today we do not want to see Russia even close to us in any
Россию мы
form.
не хотим видеть даже близко возле себя. Ни в каком виде. Потому что столько горя,
Because as
сколько
much
они
grief
принесли,
as
к
they
сожалению,
brought,
мы
unfortunately we lost loved
потеряли
ones.
близких людей, молодое поколение, которое пошло
The younger
защищать
generation who went to defend our motherland, who will remain 19, 20 years old all their lives. Nobody will return them,
И их уже ничто не вернет.
but we want to live
Но
here.
мы хотим жить здесь. А всем нашим защитникам,
And to all our
защитницам,
defenders,
медикам,
firefighters, sappers, doctors, a deep bow and gratitude for what they have done, are doing and continue to do, for saving us.
продолжают делать то, что они спасают нас.
On the Northern Saltivka, wherever you look, traces of racist aggression are everywhere. Destroyed houses, completely burned apartments, collapsed entrances. All this is terrible. But the most vulnerable of these was the children's playground, riddled with shrapnel. And the scum involved in this crime must be punished. And the country that did this must be found out. Daily. Fast forward a century.